Okay, so now as we're standing the studs here, as you notice, they're all the same direction. 3 foot missing, 1 foot missing the 3 foot knockout that's normally there. 5 missing 7, 9 missing 11. Then they got 13, my bad. All right, now here is something about slotted track a lot of people do not know. Most slotted track is 2.5 leg and it looks like this. And you can see where my studs are cut. This is correct. Just a little bit above the halfway point is where you want them to be cut. So what you can do for that, to make it the easiest to measure, is you can either hook your tape on here, or if you have a magnet, you can butt it up inside. If you're up against the top deck like this, it's a lot harder to hook it, obviously, and then your tape might get stuck. So it's better to magnet to the inside and pull down and measure it to the top edge of your bottom track and add 1/8 to 1/4. But take your measurement in a couple places on a stretch of wall, and then find if there's something that's gonna work out best as an average between them within about 3/8 of an inch of each other. If it's more than that, you're gonna wanna split it up into a few different measurements so that you have enough, so that you're not short, so that you're not down here on one and way up here on another. And the reason being is because this is supposed to deflect. That is the whole purpose of this, is to deflect, be it up or down. If a load is imposed on the roof, such as, snow, which obviously is not really an issue here in Texas, but it is up north. Or if they add new roofing, that's gonna add weight to the roof, Sometimes they just lay new roof over the old roof, which is bad, but they do. Or they add new equipment, pipes, whatever, is gonna press down on the roof. Or your building may settle and one section may end up causing the roof, the supports may lower in one area and cause a support beam to be slightly lower, so this will come down. However, if the floor settles, or as you put drywall on the walls, it adds weight to the floor will flex down. So these need to be able to deflect downward as well. And not just the sheetrock, but all your plumbing, your cabinetry, your flooring, your fixtures. In this case, the hospital beds, that's a more dynamic load. But all the things in there are gonna add weight to that floor. So it's gonna wanna start to sag just ever so slightly or deflect in the middle. And then also building settling again, which means it needs to be able to deflect down. And that's where I'm making a point for this video, is most guys will put their screws right down here at the very bottom. Well, how is that supposed to deflect? How is the floor supposed to deflect away from the roof if your screw is here? It can't, so it will pull on your track. And a lot of the times the screws may not come out before it pops the nails, or your top track screws, depending on if it's metal decking or not. It may pop your track out before these screws break off. I have seen that happen. Now your wall is loose at the top. Good job. That's incorrect framing. Your screw should be right up here, just below the top edge. Now they do have, there is a manufacturer, I rarely see it, and it's probably because it's more expensive, but all along their top track, they have in these grooves, they have a little square washer that's barely attached, about that size right there, in between each and every one of these, right there. So you can measure your stud to the top side, and then as it deflects, the 2 tabs holding it in place break away and it will slide up and down in the groove. That's perfect. And they look about this size, like that. And then they also have a screw hole in them, in each one of those washers or tabs. So you measure to the top edge here, and then you put your screw into that hole. And it's dead center of this all the way, which is basically dummy proofing it. And that's, I think, the best track. I like that one the best because that kind of shows you this is where you're supposed to measure to, this is where your screw goes. Where here, it's just kind of left up to whatever. So yes, your screw, just like that would show you, is supposed to be up here near the top edge of your stud, so it can deflect either direction up to, I think it's about 3/4 of an inch there, which they sometimes specify your caulking gap is supposed to be 3/4 as well. But that's where you are supposed to put your screws in on those layouts. Your screws go in the grooves, so they need to be a bigger head than the little tiny, do I have any examples on this existing wall? No, I don't see them. They got little number 7 pan head screws. I don't think I have any on hand in here, but the screws you need to be using on the top are these wafer heads, because they won't pull through the top track gaps. So that's what you want to be using up top, and then down low you can use the pan heads, which a lot of the time we do because they're cheaper. But you need to be using the wafer heads when using slotted track, unless they have the mini washers like I was explaining there. When they have the mini washers, then you can use the little baby pan head screws instead.